Welcome to Estevan TV. I'm at pushgapradio.com.
Pushgapradio.com. Bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. Pushgapradio.com. It's Dallas, baby.
PushGapRadio.com. Duncanville, Dallas, Fort Worth.
Live from Hamilton Park, Dallas, Fort Worth, is Push Gap Radio.
Ooh, girl, you can't hear how Dallas, Fort Worth works. This is Jackie.
What up, y'all? This is Jackie
Of Shaka Ford 1 and the main event show.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Something like that.
Shaka Ford 1 and the main event with me, D, Jackie up. Heard exclusively on Push Gap Radio. Giving you true scoops.
PushGapRadios.com in Dallas and Fort Worth. Thank you for logging on to another edition of Shaka 401 and the main event on PushGapRadios.com. Here's to Joe Lewis this week, Dallas, Fort Worth. Continuing on with social engineering. How did black people get to where we are today? How did we get here? No one ever wants to discuss that. We're here to discuss that today. Everything man wants to know is in a book. Anything you want to keep away from black folk, put it in a book. Therefore, the most dangerous thing in America is a black man with a library card. With Shaka 401 in the main event on PushGapRadios.com. Dallas, baby.
So God had just finished creating Adam and Eve, and they only been on the earth for a few weeks. So Adam was over there showing Eve how he named all the animals. Out of nowhere, Eve just blurted out and said, "Adam, are we black or white?" Adam was stuck. He said, "I don't know." He said, "I never thought about it." He said, "Go ask God." So Eve walked off. She looked up in the sky. She said, "Father." The voice said, "Yes." She said, "Are we black or white?" The voice said, "You are what you are." She said, "Okay." She went back to Adam. She said, "We white." Adam said, "He just said we was white." She said, "No, he said you are what you are." Adam said, "Well, how did you get that we're white? Because he said you are what you are." She said, "Because if we was black, he would have said you is what you is."
PushGapRadio.com in Dallas and Fort Worth. Thank you for logging back in to Shaka 401 and the main event on PushGapRadios.com. Had a tete-a-tete with a few people. Again, on last week's show, we were discussing social engineering. This week's show is basically about the state of black America. Now, we always go on and on and on about how black people are and how we act here in America. See, my thing is, how did we get here? Don't tell me about the symptoms. Don't tell me about, what the illness is. Tell me how you got it. And that was my thing. This show this week was supposed to have been about black women are leaving themselves unprotected. We're going to get into that perhaps one next week or the week after. But this came about because I was talking to some people online who had made comments pertaining to the show, social engineering. Again, as you well know, our worst enemy is black people. That's why so many people get tired of putting forth the effort of trying to help black people. Us trying to help ourselves or whatever, And it's basically, it's just sad that our own people are our own worst enemy. And first and foremost, happy Juneteenth. Looks like all the white folks done when they gave us this holiday was created a federal holiday for themselves. Who could be so stupid as to not want to celebrate a holiday because it's for black people? You get a day off with pay. Shows you where we are in America. But yeah, social engineering. Again, a lot of comments I get are from white people, but I get some from stupid ass black people. And The white people are talking about, well, black people are this way and black people are that way. But how did we get here? We're going to cover that. We're going to get into how we got here, and we're going to discuss perhaps some ideologies to help us get from where we are. But you have to realize, from the moment we were brought to American soil, white people have been manipulating us. It's easy to manipulate you when you're not from around her, as the Texans say. When you're not from around here. Basically, how did we get here? Okay, we're about to delve into that. Happy Juneteenth. Happy Father's Day to those of you who have children. Shout out to you ones who don't have biological children, but perhaps you were a stepdad. That's going to be part of our Black Women Are Unprotected show. But yeah, if you were a stepdad, you influenced someone's life, you know. That's a good thing. Again, Juneteenth derived from the fact that in 1863 slaves were set free, but in 1865 is when those down here in the great state of Texas found out that they were no longer slaves. White folk. They've been manipulating and playing us from day one. So now here we are in 2022. How did we get here? Well, let's understand something. Let's understand this. There are problems within the black community. Not all black people. I reference this quite often. Chris Rock said it best. I love black people, but I hate niggas. Because niggas make it bad on the rest of us, black folk. In the black community, there is a value placed on being a badass MF. A badass mother trucker. Thug culture. Being a real nigga. That's tearing down our community. We look at those who go out here, and though they may oppose the police, some of you niggas need to go to jail. Flat out. Some of you niggas need to go to jail. There's no accountability in the black community. Now, you can say what you want about George Floyd, who tried to pass a fake $20 bill, or he was high on fentanyl. Well, this is America. That was no reason for that brother to die. Now, there was a young lady who was shot some time ago, about a few days, a week or so ago, because she grabbed the police officer's taser. He pulled her over, found out she had warrants. Chick, you need to go to jail. I'm not advocating the police. I'm a big fan of NWA. F the police. You need to go to jail. A lot of you people are destroying our community. What about the no snitching policy? It's destroying our community. Now, some people may say, well, Shaq, you a punk ass nigga. Why you sitting here saying that wooda wooda? Some of you niggas need to go to jail. I taught you on last week's show that you'll go down here, your homeboy Pookie shot somebody 5 times, and you talking about free Pookie. Pookie has need to go to jail. Pookie shot him and you synced it. So this do not snitch culture is killing our community. There's no accountability in the black community. How did we get here? We have this bad MF culture in America. Bad mother trucker culture. A lot of people salute this. Not all black folk, but a critical mass of black people salute these men and women with this type of attitude, with the ideal of being that it's a black thing. You ever stop to think about if you're a happy-go-lucky person in the black community, you're an anomaly. Anomaly. Let me get that out. Been sipping a little gin and juice. Yes, sir. Can't smoke that good anymore. Can't smoke that diesel fuel, so I have to resort to drinking. I drive a city transit bus here in Dallas, Texas. But there's being a bad mother trucker attitude in our community. You don't put up with any shit. We often see it as an indication of our masculinity. See, a lot of women revere that type of behavior in a man. Some revere that type of thing in a female, in a woman. I myself believe it's become a disaster in our community. Me. It comes out in the way we speak to each other. Comes out in the way we treat each other. Comes out in the way we look at each other. And it's just adds up to useless death and destruction. Is that what white people fear about us? Is that what the police fear about us? Is that what we fear in each other? How did we get here? You notice when we talk to each other as black people, it's always hostile, confrontational, aggressive. But then you talk to other people, it's just a normal conversation. I believe a lot of this contributes to our high blood pressure and liver and heart disease, things of that nature. We're just too hostile to each other. We've been taught to hate those who look like us. We're going to cover where that came from. Again, that's what this particular show is about this week. Not how we are with each other today, June 21st, June 20th. This show probably be up on the 21st, June 20th of 2022. It's about how we got here. Because again, I get tired of a lot of people talking about how we are as a community, but no one talks about where it came from. We're going to discuss that today. The way we talk to each other. When I'm on the bus and I run a route where it's in the black community, the hostility is palatable. The way we look at each other. Yo, nigga, what you looking at? Yeah. Come on. Being a bad mother trucker. That's how we talk to each other. When we meet and greet each other, the first thing is like we're sizing each other up. Not like, oh, hi, my brother. How you doing? What's going on? How's your day going? It's like, what's up, nigga? What's up, nigga? The hostility. We're all guilty of it. Because we've all been conditioned that way. Unless you live in a community where that's not prevalent. I recall a video I saw some years ago where these two brothers are coming down the street in New York. Another black guy is coming from the other direction. He bumps the one guy. Yo, nigga, what's your problem? Yo, my man, I'm sorry. Yo, nigga, I don't care about you being sorry, nigga. Wooda, 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 wooda. They get to fighting. They each pull out a gun. Screen goes black. Same two guys. Next video. Walking down the street, city of New York. Black guy bumps into a white guy. Black guy turns to the white. Yo, man, what's your fault? What's your problem? The white guy says, oh, I'm sorry, black guy. I'm not into that nigger shit. I bumped into you and I'm sorry. I'll be on my way. And he walked on, had his sweater tied around his neck. You know how the style was back in the 80s. Black dude looks at his homeboy. They look at each other. But the white guy walks away. Bad mother trucker. Everything with black people is, when you say something to me, everything is disrespectful. You have to walk on eggshells. The people who want the most respect are the most disrespectful people on the planet. How did we get here? Look how we treat each other. Look how we talk to each other. Look how we look at each other. We hate those that look like us. Is this what the white people fear about us? Is this what the police fear about us? Do we fear this in each other? How did we get here? Back in the day, I'm 61 years old. Back in the day, you'd go to a concert, Parliament, Bootsy, Frankie Beverly and Mays, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire. There are 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 people there. Someone steps on your foot, on your nice shoes. Person whose foot got stepped on would turn to you. You'd be saying, oh, my man, I'm sorry. Oh, not a problem, kinfolk, not a problem. We good. He'd be hitting a joint and pass it to you. We weren't smoking blunts back then. We were just smoking regular joints. People didn't know you and would pass the joint. I recall that's how I first started smoking weed. It was the summer after my 10th grade year. We were at a Bootsy Parliament concert, Gary, Indiana, Westside High School. And people would roll weed. I remember this one time, the guy came out on stage before the concert. There would be no smoking in the auditorium. No cigarettes, no weed, no none of that. You know, back in the 70s, you could smoke anywhere. But he was saying there would be no smoking in the facility. This dude stood up way in the nosebleed section because when the guy was talking, when he got through, it was real quiet, right? This guy stood, I will never forget this. I had to have been about 16 years old. This guy stood up way in the nosebleed. He said, because I want to do it right. Anyone who wants to smoke can smoke. Applause just broke out. You know what I'm saying? As soon as Bootsy hit the stage, doof, 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 folk was lighting up. This is how I came to smoke weed. Bridget Cherry, girlfriend of mine at the time. Well, I don't know if Bridget was my girlfriend or just my homegirl, because we had always been tight. Tried to date, didn't work out, but we were great friends. And so the guy behind us fired up a joint. We're sitting there, me and Bridget, and he passed the joint. Bridget took the joint. She hit it. Because, again, back in the day, that's how we were as a people. We shared. So she hands it to me. And, girl, you know I don't smoke. I'm an athlete. Bridget say, fool, this is the summertime. We ain't even in school. I ran track and whatnot. So I hit the joint. Tried to pass it back to the guy. The guy was rolling another joint, right? He looked at me. He said, man. Then he licked the joint. He was rolling it. He looked at me. He said, man, I don't smoke doobies. And about 10 minutes after I smoked it, just as she said, how you feeling? I was like, man, it's pretty cool. The lights went out. Bootsy Collins came on stage. I want to, do, 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 do. Yeah. Nowadays, you step on somebody's foot at a concert or somewhere crowded. It's going to be a fight or gunplay. How did we get here? If you're somewhere with a lot of people, somebody's going to step on your foot. Someone's going to bump into you. How did we become these people where we accepted that? Someone bumped into you at a concert or out of some event. It was okay in the 70s. Now someone bumps into you, someone's going to come up dead. Back in the day when black people were together, you knew it was something positive, man. Today is total chaos. Ain't nobody sharing no blunt with you, nigga. I don't know you. Don't bump into me. Don't step on my foot. You got on some fresh J's. You at a place with 15,000 people. Nigga, you don't think somebody's going to step on your foot at some point throughout the evening. Today, somebody's going to get shot. Someone's going to get killed. How did we get here? Now, they say the most dangerous place for a black man to be is one of two places. In the black community, where he might get shot, or in the womb of a black woman, where 50% of pregnancies end in abortion. We don't have a problem with white people or police as black folk. We have a morals problem. We've lost our souls. How did we get here? See, no one wants to talk about that aspect of the game. How did we get here? This started from the moment we hit American soil. But no one wants to talk about that. Oh, you got black on black crime. These black folks snitching on each other. These black folk turning on each other. Black folk don't support each other. How did we get here? Why do we hate ourselves? Here's Malcolm X.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Yeah. Who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate your skin, your nose, your lips? It's the very people oppressing you. You won't go kill them, but you'll kill someone who looks like you. So how did we get here? On last week's show, we discussed social engineering. Okay. Now, back in 1710, they came up with Meritorious Manumission. And it's how black people developed a culture of snitching and pro-establishment Negro leadership. Before we get into that, let's let the greatness that is Dr. Claude Anderson explain it to you.
It was set up in the Virginia colony and then also later into South Carolina. It's called Meritorious Manumission. Meritorious means to earn. Manumission means to release. So a black could earn his release from slavery if he did one of four things, or a combination, elaboration, or sophistication of those four things. One, if he could prove to whites that he could see things through the eyes of a white person, and he'd prove it by one, saving a white person's life; two, saving a white person's property; three, inventing something or improving the profits that he get from picking cotton and corn or tobacco; or four, if he would squeal on and tell on any other black person who was trying to escape from slavery. That was called Meritorious Manumission. We still got blacks in America that's working hard and diligently to get Meritorious Manumission.
And so I tracked from 1710 all the way up to 1860s. And out of over 200 some possible slavery votes, a black person squealed in every one of them.
Like he just explained, Meritorious Manumission Act, a law passed in Virginia back in the 1700s as a propellant that spurred black people to snitch on one another to get into the good graces of white folk. Meritorious manumission was the legal act of freeing an enslaved African for good deeds. Dr. Claude Anderson just told you that every uprising, a nigga snitched. See, they had to put that in us. That's what turned us against each other. That's one of the things. We're going to delve deeper. But that's what got us where we are. Social engineering. No one wants to look at that. All we want to talk about is how we are today. How did you get cancer? Were you smoking? Eating processed foods? Did you work in an environment that contributed to your cancer? How did you get it? How did we get here? Meritorious manumission was developed for us to turn against each other. So in 2022, we're still that way because look at the Congressional Black Caucus. They don't give a shit about us. It's about what they can do for white folk. That's how we got here. This behavior has trickled down to modern day and persists today. Trying to get white folk approval. We got black leaders running around here who prioritize their personal ambitions and individualism over the liberation of the masses of our people. From colonial capitalism and its byproduct, poverty. You know, Dr. King called these people out. Call them manufactured leaders back in the day is what he said. See, it was created by the white power structure in order to maintain control over the black vote. It's sad. This is how we got here. Social engineering. Again, last week I went over some things with different people because everyone always wants to talk about what's happening now. No one ever wants to discuss what got us here. Meritorious manumission. The mindset is so ingrained in black culture that some experts say that slave behavior will never disappear. What did J. Edgar Hoover say? I'll have these niggas voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Check it out.
When Lyndon Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act of 1964, he said, if niggers want to vote, I'll have them vote Democrat for 200 years. And he signed that shit. And he's been manipulating us ever since.
Sad state of affairs. Okay. Now, the second thing that you have to look at and that you have to consider is it may have existed, it may not have existed, but the Willie Lynch letter. Some folks say it's a farce. It never happened. Some folks say it's a true thing. Now, Willie Lynch, he was a slave owner, had a modest plantation, and supposedly, allegedly, he made this speech about how to keep black folk divided and against each other. Today you have media. They pour billions of dollars into media to keep us divided. There's a lot of money in that. And what Willie Lynch was saying is that he had full proof of a method of controlling your black slaves, that he guaranteed it. that if you installed it correctly, you'll control these slaves for 300 years. Think about it. I'll have your ass voting Democrat for the next 200 years, and for the next 300 years, Willie Lynch said that if you implement these practices that I'm about to lace you up to, you'll control these niggas for another 300 years. The method was simple. Said any member of your family or your overseer could use it. And what he did was define the differences amongst the slaves. But just take the differences and make them bigger, is what he said. You got to use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. This is Willie Lynch. He said that these methods worked on his plantation, and it'll work throughout the South. Now, he said the first thing, since it began with an A, was age. Second thing was color. Every black person on a plantation had intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation, status on the plantation, attitude of the owners, no matter where the slave lived. East, west, north, south, fine hair, coarse hair, tall or short. Now, what he said, this is how we got here. What he said was that his distrust is stronger than trust. Envy was stronger than adulation, respect or admiration. I told you on last week's show there was a difference between jealousy and envy. I'll cover that again. Jealousy means I possess something that you yourself can possess. A house, a car, clothes. If I have these things, you're jealous of me because you yourself can acquire them. Envy means I possess something you will never possess. You would never be a slave owner. At your age today, you will never be a Supreme Court justice. You will never be president. He said that after the black slaves received this indoctrination, that it would be a self-refueling and self-generating process for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. A lot of you have read or heard about the Willie Lynch letter. But I'm going to lace the boots up for those of you who have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. Willie Lynch said that you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male. Pit the young black male against the old black male. Pit the dark-skinned slave against the light-skinned slave, and the light-skinned slave against the dark-skinned slave. You must pit the female against the male and the male against the female. What do we have today? These gender wars going on. Black men ain't shit. Black women ain't shit. Black girl magic. Black women are the ones who put the Democrats into office. See the divide? See the divide. Willie Lynch said you must also have white servants and overseers distrust all the blacks. That your slaves must trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us, not each other. These are the keys to control. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity to use these principles. Here's the most profound fact. Willie Lynch said if used intensely for only 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. How are we today? There was a time when we as black people came together and it was something positive and beautiful. I'm 61 years old, born 1960. Came of age in the 70s. Look at today. Look at today. Who taught you to hate yourself? How did we get here? The no snitch culture in our community. You know somebody did something, yet and still we'll sit here and not say anything. Excuse my French, but these people are ass raping the community. They need to go to jail. Here's Charleston White.
Now let's get straight to the big news. The big news is Young Thug and Gunna, they're indicted on some RICO charges. When you see that, when you first saw that, what went to your mind?
Yeah, good for that district attorney in Atlanta, Georgia, that's going to utilize these two big name rappers to make an example out of, as well as set a precedent going forward. Maybe these niggas will start writing about I need love, like LL Cool J used to write about, and change their lyrics. Because what done happened in the rap industry, homie, is these lyrics are real life situations. These lyrics are real life circumstances. We are actually bringing reality to rap, right? When they get their motherfucking ass and they got to go to jail, them niggas scream and holler, I don't want to be here. It's inhumane. They got me with the roaches and the rats. Oh, I want to get out. They ain't so gangster. If you go put that suit on, we all say it's two roads to that suit. Jail or the graveyard. Why you trying to avoid that? You can't come amend this, young brother. You got to go to jail. Back in the day, them niggas took pride in going to jail. These today's prisoners with these iPhones and cell phones make prison look very appealing. I keep telling y'all, the best thing for these niggas is that penitentiary. Them niggas, when they come home, they go to driving trucks around the country. They try to fix the family problems, or they barbecue on Sundays during the football games. They become loving husbands. They try to get all their kids together. No, man, that's the best thing they could have done for the black community in the hip hop culture is arrest a bunch of them niggas. Really, I'm just happy just for a bunch of niggas to go to jail anyway that's causing trouble in the community. It ain't just got to be rappers.
Yeah, need to go to jail. Makes the community better. So that's one of the ways. The second way that we've been taught to treat each other like we do. Through social engineering. Meritorious Manumission. You heard Dr. Claude Anderson. The Willie Lynch letter. We've been manipulated from day one. We're our own worst enemy. And it's sad. Our unity is our solution. But will we do that? No. Because, again, we've been taught to go against each other, the old against the young. We have no respect. They have no respect for the elders. I recall as a youngster in my teens, if we were on the bus and someone's mom or grandma got on the bus, we policed ourselves. Where did that come from? It came from the fact that that could be my mother or grandmother, or my homeboy's mother or grandmother. I don't want you disrespecting my mom or grandma, so I'm not going to disrespect yours. As we came into the 80s, it became a thing of, I got mine, you get yours. Don't worry about the next man. The 80s was the me generation, decade. The 1980s. I wish we could go back to a time where we were segregated. Because when we were segregated, We looked out for each other because we were all we had. We're all we have today. But the way the media portrays it, that's not the case. There is no one coming to help black folk. We're trying to get our reparations. And again, maybe it's time for separation from everyone else. Okay. We're going to get into the third thing here. We got Meritorious, Manumissions. We got the Willie Lynch letters. We're going to get into internalized racism momentarily. But maybe it's time to separate. Go back to what Malcolm X was talking about. Separate but equal. Give us time to perhaps build our own. And people want to say, well, black people can't build their own. Black people can't do this, and the third. Black Wall Street, period. ... We always had the capability of building our own. But when you come and burn it down and bomb it, kill the people who built it and created it, then we get down the road and you say, well, you niggas just can't seem to get it together. Every time we do, here comes your destruction, white people. They never did that to the Asians. They put them in the little concentration camps during the war, but they receive reparations for that. They never bombed the Hispanics, the Italians, the Russians, the Irish. Never bombed their communities. Never burned it down. How did we get here? Quit telling me about where the hell we are today and tell me how we got here. I don't want to know about the disease and the symptoms. I want to know where it came from. That's what this show is about. Because the people that I got into the tete-a-tete with on last week's show about social engineering, they don't get that. They weren't there when their grandparents was burning our shit down. They weren't there. Told you the story of little Sarah Beth, who didn't think black people should get reparations because they weren't alive during that time. But her great-granddaddy had 100 acres. Her granddaddy acquired another 100 acres. He sold it, started a real estate company who passed down to her dad, who expounded that company, and Sarah Beth got all the benefits from it. See, you get the benefits from slavery because that 100 acres that your great-granddad or your granddad bought, you probably stole it from some black person. But Sarah Beth gets to live a great life. She wasn't born. She wasn't here. So just like Sarah Beth, white girl, you get to go to Stanford and get an engineering degree off of the prosperity of your ancestors. I get to live with the poverty inflicted upon my ancestors. How did we get here? We were taught to turn against each other. Why do we need a hashtag that says support black business? You never see the Jews doing that. You never see Hispanics with a hashtag saying support Hispanic business. It's only us. How did we get here? Had to start somewhere. And it started from the people who brought us here. There's something that you have to look at. Check this out. If we were so inferior, insignificant, we wasn't about shit, then why do they spend so much time on us? Here's an analogy. If something is inferior, you would give them the best of everything. Think about this. The family dog. There's a freeze coming. Let's say you live in New England, New York, Chicago, wherever it gets very cold. You'd bring the dog in. The dog would have its own house. Everything would be done to ensure that the dog was safe and secure, because the dog is insignificant, inferior. Then why wouldn't you give black folk the best of everything if we're inferior? Because the dog doesn't have the potential to take over and dominate a people. Black folk do. Maybe if you gave us the best of everything, you know, the shit you owe us, then we would exceed you. We already show the world how mediocre you are. We're the ones. African Americans, ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, FBA, Foundational Black Americans. You know we're an amazing people. Again, you didn't steal black folk. You stole scientists and engineers and farmers and construction workers and teachers and things of that nature. Every yin has a yang. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. In mainstream media, white folk media, you always tell the bad things about black folk. Yeah, we're messed up in our community, but nigga, how did we get here? How did we get here? How did we go from being amazing people after slavery, building our own, showing white folk we didn't need them, till now today we're just shit? People wonder why we can't seem to get our act together. Because they didn't burn your shit down. White people fear us because of what they done to us. That's why you don't want to give us reparations. Again, you don't fear the black people that will take the money and give it back to Cadillac and Gucci and Louboutin and things of that nature. You fear the 10 to 20% of black people who know what the hell to do with that money. That's who you fear. So now our racism has become internalized within ourselves. We hate those who look like us. Internalized racism is a form of internalized oppression. They emphasize that internalized racism involves both conscious and unconscious acceptance of the racial hierarchy, in which whites are consistently ranked above people of color. You know, black people are the only people who don't have a God that looks like them. It's all about white Jesus. That was a form of manipulation as well. If white Jesus is white, if God is white, then you see the white man as a God. But you niggas don't see that. You don't see the correlation. Black folk do. Those who understand everybody's God looks like them but yours. It's by design. Internalized racism definitions encompass a wide range of instances, including but not limited to belief in negative stereotypes, adaptations to white cultural standards, and thinking that supports the status quo. Sometimes that means denying that racism doesn't even exist. Listen to this fool.
America is not a racist country.
Yeah. Internalized racism. People like Jim Clyburn, who went out, and I hate Marcel Dixon didn't win. For those of you who are hip to the brother, who was running against Clyburn over there in Carolina. When Jim Clyburn was asked after the election of Joe Biden, well, what is it that you want? Oh, I don't want nothing. I was just happy to be part of the process. I don't need nothing. This is the nigga we talking about in Meritorious Manumissions. Anything I can do for white folks, I was happy to do. To hell with the niggas. We's don't need nothing. Sad. Internalized racism as a phenomenon is a direct product of a racial classification system and is found across different racial groups and regions around the world where race exists as a social construct. Race didn't even exist till white folk done it. I gave you that story two programs ago. High internalized racism scores have been linked to poor health outcomes among Caribbean black women, higher propensity of violence amongst African American young males, and increased domestic violence amongst Native American populations in the U.S. This is what racism does. This is what internalized racism does, where you hate yourself. A question I'd like to put to black women. If Kim Kardashian and all these other females emulate you from their lips to their butt, to their nose, to their hair, why do you fight so hard to look like them with the blonde weave and the... I see black chicks get on the bus when I'm driving at work and you get on with all this blonde hair hanging down your ass. You don't see how shitty that looks. Big shout out to the sisters who go natural. I'd rather see you natural. I know you probably screwed your hair up with all the chemicals and the weaves and the sew-ins, and your hairline is probably back behind your eyeballs, but be true to self. Again, like J. Edgar Hoover said, the biggest threat to America is the unification of the black man. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing has always broke down the differences in how we are and how them folk are. And we've capitulated to how they think, what they believe about us. See, me, I don't give a damn what you think about me. I was raised that way by men. As long as I pay my own way through life, I give a damn what you think about me. I'm going to voice my opinions. That's my Capricorn side. I'm going to tell you what I think as a man. Give a damn whether you black, white, Hispanic, or Samoan, Eskimo. I don't give a damn. Because I don't buy into that. I did in my younger days. Until I start delving and doing my own research. It's not who we are today and what we do today as a black community. It's how did we get here? It's not the fact that you have COVID. How did you contract COVID? It's not the fact that you have cancer. How did you get cancer? It's not a fact that you have the flu. How did you catch the flu? Responses to internalized racism have been varied. Many of the approaches focus on dispelling false narrative learned from racial oppression. An example of oppression to internalized racism is the Black is Beautiful cultural movement in the U.S., which sought to directly attack the ideology that blackness was ugly. Who set the standard that white beauty was the standard. Now, if you're on the YouTube channel, you can see the pictures I have posted of beautiful sisters. They've been beautiful. They're still beautiful today. This is where the movement of going natural came from with the sisters. One question to black women, how the hell long is them damn lashes gonna get? I ain't seen a man yet that, man, I want to hit that. You saw her lashes? I ain't seen it yet. You're the standard of beauty on the globe. You ever watch The Talk with Cheryl Underwood and how hideous they make her look? You ever notice in media that whenever there's a black woman, she's a fat black chick? It's because white women are intimidated by you. Don't no white woman want Jane Kennedy sitting up there. Don't no white woman want Lola Falana sitting up there. Pam Grier. Let's not even get into Walona on Good Time. Let's not get into what's her name on Good Times? Thelma. Beautiful. But then there came a point where every black woman, movies, television, commercials, is a fat black chick. Lizzo. Not saying that big girls aren't beautiful, but the Hispanic girl, the Asian girl, the white girl, they're all thin and pretty. But the black chick is some fat black chick. You ever notice that, or is it just me? I had realized it 2-3 years ago before I came across a dang on Tariq Nasheed video where he discussed it. Tariq, I had already synced that game, pimp. They're intimidated by you. They envy you. Jealousy means you possess something I myself can get. Envy means you have something I can never get. And yet still the sisters run around with this fake ass hair, long ass lashes, this blonde hair. What's going on with that? What are some of the effects of internalized racism? What about skin lightening? What about the black and white doll theory back in 1939? For those of you who have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, this involved an African-American child being presented with two dolls that were identical, apart from their skin and hair color. One doll was white, yellow hair. The other doll was brown with black hair. Child was asked which doll they thought they preferred to play with and why. And in the study, all the children expressed a clear preference for the white doll. You were taught to hate yourself. Who taught you to hate yourself? According to Malcolm X. They redid this study in 2006, and they took 21 African-American preschool children for this documentary. And they found that 15 of the children chose the white doll over the black doll, given the similar reasons for their love of the white doll that they gave in 1939. Said the white doll was associated with pretty and good, and black was associated with being ugly and bad. Lightening your skin. You ever seen Sammy Sosa? Have you seen Serena Williams lately? Amazing. Miss Serena Williams. How did we get here? We are here through design. We are here through social engineering. We are here through things like the Willie Lynch letter, internalized racism, and back in 1710, the Meritorious Manumission Act. That's why we're here. We've been manipulated ever since we've been here. Our only problem is we're too stupid to break the system of what put us here. And it's sad. Our unity is our solution. But again, J. Edgar Hoover said it best. The single greatest threat to the USA is the unification of black people. We were unified at one time. Same way you got black men wearing their pants down on their ass. Nigga, don't nobody want to see your butt. Francis Cress Wesleyan told you about that back in the 70s. That soon the pants will be around your ankles. Next, they'll be over your shoulder. Next, you'll be wearing a dress. We're at the dress stage now. You ever see these rappers? Social engineering. You remember KRS-One, Queen Latifah, Tribe Called Quest, spoke on black issues, Public Enemy. I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers. They wanted me for their army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said never. Here's a land that never gave a damn. That scared white folks. NWA scared white folks. We got to get rid of that. Very fragile egos. White folks have led you to believe how powerful and strong they are. Remember who created the participation trophy. How did we get here? White folks were scared. So you listen to rap music now. They never mention social issues that are going on within our community. The no snitch policy, killing our community. We kill more of us than white folks do. We don't want to look at that. That comes from the bad mother trucker problem that we have in our community. Nigga, you can't talk to me like that. Nigga, what you looking at, nigga? The moment black folk get around each other, our speech becomes aggressive, confrontational. Every little thing you say to us is disrespectful. And all we said was hi. But when we get around them folk, we have very pleasant conversations. I used to wonder, as I rode around, when I would see young black people as a limo driver, I would see young black people hanging out at the white club, standing in line to get in. And I would think, why would you want to go in there? Those people don't like you. It's not all white folk, but like the great Muhammad Ali said, if 1,000 snakes are coming at me and 100 of them are not poisonous, do I stick around to find the 100 that aren't poisonous, or do I shut the door on them all? Sometimes later, I realize that the young black people go to these white clubs because they want to have an enjoyable experience. I love black people, but I hate niggas. The niggas gonna get in the club. There's gonna be a fight. Somebody gonna start shooting. Someone's gonna get killed. All over dumb shit. And it's sad. It's just very sad what we've become, but how did we get here? We didn't create it on our own. Do you ever think of all the people that God sent here to tell us stuff? W.E.B. Du Bois, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Everyone that God sent here to tell us something is dead and gone. All we have to do is take what they told us and apply it. But again, social engineering, media, youngsters being brought up in a single mom household. It's chaos today. I don't like being around my people. I like being around black folk. I don't like being around niggas. I just don't. And I understand why them youngsters go to clubs and places where it's white people or Hispanics. And when you talk to people, even getting on the bus, the aggression. Like I said, we don't even speak to each other anymore. Here's a topic on that.
You know, black people, you all, well, myself included, but I don't do what a lot of you all do. A lot of you all won't even speak. Like, I speak to everybody, but I really get upset when black people don't speak to me back. And you look at me like, I don't know him. No, you don't know me, but we're the same color. But what I can tell you, if you was somewhere around a lot of white people and you knew they were giving you a strange look and they didn't like you or whatever, and it's just you out there, and you saw me come up to you, before I can even speak, you'll come to me thankful that you saw another black person, period. And that's just how it works. And that's backwards as hell. And what's even worse, we are so systematically fucked up, my daughter right here, that you can have somebody work for UPS and somebody can work for FedEx. They will not speak to each other because they work for two different companies. Y'all mind is really messed up, yo. Sad too. Very sad.
We don't even speak to each other anymore. I remember back in the day, all people spoke. We just gave the nod where you threw your head back. You know, we have a way black folk of speaking without speaking. Everyone else does too, but ours is just cooler. How did we get here? How did we get here? I explained to you on last week's program the percentage of white people that get on the bus and speak, the percentage of Asians that get on my bus and speak, the percentage of Hispanics. Them Hispanics will come all the way from the back, past the open back door to come to the front door to tell you thank you and have a good day. Now, more black men than black women will speak. The brothers, 75% of them will speak. All right, my man. All right, kinfolk. All right, fam. But when it come to black women, someone again told me, well, you know, brothers always hitting on the sisters. Sweetie, everybody don't want you. Beauty is subjective. You may be fine as hell to one somebody. You may look like Boo-Boo the Fool to another. Everybody don't want you. Speak. That's why you're unprotected, black women. Because that part is broken down. Check this guy out about speaking. Again, you heard him, I mean. About us speaking to each other. It's sad. Then we run around here and we keep voting Democrat. People don't give a damn about us. I'm not doing nothing just for black people. No. Joe Biden done told you he ain't doing a damn thing for black people. Check this out about the power of black folk.
Let me tell you people something y'all do not know. They are scared of y'all. The black community. Y'all single-handedly own the power and you can't even see it. The Democrats are so terrified that y'all are going to wake up and see their shit and they're going to lose their power. They know that y'all single-handedly hold the cards to all of this shit in this nation. God, please just wake up and see what kind of control you actually have. If you really want to get technical, y'all are the ones that can save this country. Because the minute that y'all actually see through their bullshit is when they lose their wealth. Talk about white privilege. They will lose their wealth. They bank on y'all. They bank on y'all. The president, oh God, what was his name? He was the president. Oh, I should have found that information out. He said, we will have the N. He used the N-word. The N-word, their vote for the next 200 years, so we got it. They bank on y'all remaining stagnant with their bullshit. I can't wait to see this shit unfold, because I'm going to tell you, there's one by one, they waking up. Y'all better get ready. One by one, they're waking up to rich man's bullshit, and they're seeing, and they're standing their ground. And once they lose the black vote, it's on like a Donkey Kong.
Yeah. We have a lot of power. We're just not using it. We're a detriment to ourselves. How did we get here? No one ever wants to discuss how we got here. We were taught back in 1710 to turn against each other, to not support each other. Again, that's why you have support black business, hashtag support black business. No one else does that but us. We were trained this way. We were conditioned this way. State of black America. Are we too far gone? I don't know. I just really don't think it's going to change in my lifetime. I just don't. The conditioning is too bad, I believe. And you got these youngsters who had no direction by black men because of mass incarceration. See, when I was growing up, when you went to Christmas get-togethers, Thanksgiving get-togethers, July 4th get-togethers, it was dominated by men. I was taught not to be emotional. Recall a time where I was riding my bike when I first started taking off the training wheels. And I fell. My old man just sat there. My mom jumped up, ran over there. You okay, baby? Wooda, wooda, wooda. And while she was helping me up, I looked over at my old man. He was over there talking to some other guys. None of them moved. JT looked over at me. He said, "You all right?" I said, "Yes, sir, I'm good." Okay. And he turned back around and talked to the guy. What was that about? It was about the fact that you as a man, you're going to have way more problems in your life, nigga, than falling off a damn bike. And you're going to have to learn to overcome that and to move on and to be stronger. Your mom is not going to be there to coddle you and lick your wounds and put on a Band-Aid as you get older. And this is what we in our community do not understand. That's another form of social engineering. That's how they got the black man out of the family. So now the young black boys are running around here gay as hell. On Sunday, June 19th, I'm off on Mondays and Tuesdays. I record this show on Mondays. Gives me time to do show prep over the weekend, do my research. Passing a hotel downtown Dallas. They must have some kind of gay convention. I didn't know that till after the fact. I was coming down to the bus stop, right, on Elm Street and Lamar Street in Dallas, Texas, for those of you who live in Dallas area. These two guys, they had on red leather shorts, short ass red leather shorts, red leather jacket with this big circle on it. I don't know what the word said on it. I couldn't make that out. They had on these boots that had the platforms on it, like the white people be wearing that are into I can't say the word right now, but they're into the dark thing. So the boots had platforms on this and the third. But as they were walking by, I was looking at them, right? And as I pulled up to the bus stop, I looked over. This older black brother was looking at him with his mouth hanging open. Now, I equated to, if you ever saw Beverly Hills Cop with Eddie Murphy, right? I don't know if it's a Capricorn thing, if it's just me. I equate everything to a song or a movie in life. There's always a correlation. And correlation, however you pronounce it. And when I pulled up to the expression on his face, man, he had a can of beer in his hand. He was talking to some female. And he was just staring. I pulled up to the bus and I opened the door. And when I opened the door, he turned around. I just pointed at him and I was laughing my ass off. He started laughing. I said, dude, if you could see your damn face. I don't know the guy. He didn't know me. He said, man, if you can only imagine what I was about to say. I said, dude, do you remember Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop when he got to L.A. and saw the dude in the Michael Jackson jacket? He said, yeah, man. I said, nigga, that's how you look. And we started laughing. I closed the door. I was pulling off. He pointed at me. I pointed back at him. But later when I came back through, at the hotel, there were a gang of gay guys hanging out. Nothing against gay people. Your life is your life. But there were no men around. There were no men around to teach you and guide you because they were in prison, or your mom treated your dad so crappy he didn't want to be around that and he left. It's all by design. You decided to take a check over a man. See, black women took the feminist movement and put it on steroids. I'm going to discuss this in that show where women are unprotected, but I'm just giving you a little bit now. And this is where being emotional comes out at. You're emotional because you're raised by women, not men. Men teach you that you're to be logical and not get wrapped into your emotions. How did we get here? The way we got here to where we are as black people in 2022. Again, social engineering through Meritorious Manumission, the Willie Lynch letter, and internalized racism, and through the media. We've been designed to hate each other, those who look like us. Who taught you to hate yourself? When we talk to each other, the hostility. Who taught you to hate yourself? How did we get here? We got here through social engineering. So, yeah, we can sit here and say how things are today and what's going wrong and things of that nature. But how did we get here? No one ever wants to discuss that part. No one ever wants to discuss it. It's sad, but it's true. That's the research I did for this program. Because I'm tired of people talking about where we are. Even black people. They don't know how we got here. Oh, these youngsters ain't about all these old heads, all these. Nigga, it was ingrained into us. We were engineered to be this way. We can change it, but these youngsters ain't looking to do it. The old heads done got old and lazy. See, me, I don't think my generation passed down these concepts to the generation behind us. I'm a baby boomer. I'm on the ass end of baby boomers. But I don't think baby boomers passed it down to the next generation. The next generation, I believe, as we went into the 80s and whatnot, they believed that everything was cool. It was a post-racial America. White people was cool with them. And then you got your nigga wake-up call. You've been getting it, but at some point as you get older, you start to open your eyes. I can't think of the guy. Baldwin was his name. Who said that if you're not angry as a black person in America, that means you're still asleep. How come your God don't look like you? Your God looks like the person who oppresses you. Cognitive dissonance. When you get new information, you got a computer in your pocket, but you fail to use that computer to wake yourself up. That's fine. But how did we get here? This is how we got here. Why can't we come together like we used to? That's because we distrust each other. How come the black churches don't build? Because they on that 501c3 plan. The black church is not here to teach you how to build or invest or buy the block or start a business, a food bank, go out and clean up our neighborhoods. We're taught to wait on something else. It's like the white people are here. They live in mansions, drive Rolls Royces, got all the money. They live their best life now. You're taught to wait for yours in the afterlife. How did we get here? It's not going to change in my lifetime. I was going to do another program, but again, after I got into the tete-a-tete online back and forth with people about, well, blacks are this and blacks are that way and blacks do this and blacks are their own worst enemy. How did we get here, white person? Everyone wants to act like how we got here has nothing to do with how we are where we are. It's like we came out of slavery and we was twerking and wearing our pants off our ass, had no respect for our elders, and we was just ratchet. Somebody spent a lot of money to put us where we are. Look at our music. Look at our music. Our music was amazing. See, these people cannot compete. Our music was amazing. Earth, Wind, and Fire. The Commodores. Aretha Franklin. Stephanie Mills. This music today does not touch on what the hell is going on in our community. The rappers. You know, like Queen Latifah and them. UNITY. 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 Our unity is our solution. People spend a lot of money to keep us divided. Black against light skin and old against young, men against women. The gender thing is real huge in our community right now. But sisters are hurting themselves. Sisters are hurting themselves. I don't need no man. Did you ever stop to think that when the Klan and them used to come attack black communities, they came in groups? Because they had to overcome the men. Them brothers had rifles too. They lead you to believe that we as black people never fought back. If they ain't taught you a whole lot of other shit, they didn't teach you this either. We fought back. Now the white boys come by themselves. Why? Because they go to places like churches full of women. They go to places like the Tops grocery store in Buffalo, New York, full of women. You're a soft target. That's why the Asians beat your ass in them nail shops. Because again, you shout to the world that you don't need no man. You're a strong, independent black woman. Ain't nothing a man can do for you. And what that says to other groups is you're unprotected. That if I beat your ass, ain't no man coming. A week or two ago, a white man beat the crap out of a black chick at a grocery store at a gas station. Why did he feel comfortable doing that? Because ain't no man coming. You done told the world you ain't need no damn man. So they understand you have no man. In the Hispanic community, a man is coming. In the Asian community, a man is coming to the aid of that Asian woman. In the white community, a man is coming. I told you on last week's program that there was a study done where they put a white woman out on the highway, put the hood up on her car. 10, 15 minutes, someone stopped to help her. Then later on, they put a Hispanic woman out there. 30, 40 minutes, someone stopped to help her. Then they put a black woman out there. 2 hours later, she was still out there. Finally, someone stopped to help her, and it was a white man. Why? Because you screamed so much that you didn't need a man, that black men got the message and we left you alone. You strong and independent, but you unprotected. You heard what old girl said in the soundbite. Ben Franklin ain't gonna keep you warm at night. See, God designed it that way. You have two of everything. You have two arms, you have two hands, two legs, 2 feet, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth but 2 lips, 1 nose but 2 nostrils. Everything has an equal and opposite reaction in the universe. The family structure was torn apart in our community. That was by design. But because you yell to everyone that you don't need a man, they say to themselves, oh, well, shit, she ain't got no man. I can do whatever I want with her. That's why these shooters are starting to come to these places, and it's going to get worse. It's too late to fix it now. With Oprah Winfrey and Ricky Lake and Sally Jesse Raphael and all of these people back in the 80s telling you that black men wasn't shit, they was dogs and they wasn't about nothing. And then the white people turn around after they got the black man out of the house, they start giving you the jobs that should have went to the brothers. Ain't you tired of being a strong black woman? Ain't you tired of being an independent black woman? Do you ever hear a black man say, I don't need a woman? Do you ever hear white women say they don't need no man? You ever hear Asian women say they don't need no man? You ever hear Hispanic women, Eskimos, Samoans? Black women, you the only one. And that's why you get abused. I remember a couple of years back where the Asian guy beat the crap out of the black chick in the wig store. The black men came out in force to defend the black woman the next day. And the next day, the line to get in that store with black women was around the block. They know you have no protection. And they're going to keep coming. Let me ask you a question. When that white boy went to Buffalo, New York, to that Tops grocery store with his AR-15 and shot and killed those 10 people, why didn't he go up the block where Pookie and them was? Why didn't he go up the block? That's what Pookie and them was at. That's because he knew them brothers was going to lay it down. They was going to shoot back. They had something for that ass. Black women, you're a soft target. How did we get here? You let some other culture tell you that your man wasn't shit. And as men, the only reason we date you is because we see we can help you. If you don't need my help as a man, then why am I here? I move on to the female who needs my help. See, that's what men do. We solve problems. You sit here and you cheer Lori Harvey. Well, Lori Harvey is going to wind up being like Erykah Badu and Madonna. You're going to be old spending your money on a dude that ain't at your level. Now, it's understandable she wasn't ready to get settled down or whatever with Michael B. Jordan. That's understandable. Okay. But think about this. White men back in the day went to school to become doctors, lawyers, architects. White women went to school, college, to find and marry a doctor, lawyer, or architect. A man don't give a crap how much money you make or what you do for a living. I'm here, one, because I love you. I think you're amazing. I'm here, two, to help solve your problems. Men are problem solvers. Women just like to talk. That's why you notice when you talk to your man, he's always coming up with a solution. That's what we do. And sometimes you don't need a solution. You just want to talk. But as men, that's what that is. I can't talk to a guy and he's not going to, well, Shaq, here's what I think you should do. Because that's what we do. But the rest of the world sees your ass as a mark, as a victim. How did we get here? Social engineering. We were taught to snitch on each other. Dr. Claude Anderson just told you early in the program, every slave rebellion, over 200 of them, that was ever planned to get ready to execute, was snitched out by a black person. That's been since the 1700s. Over 300 years. And that's where we are today. This is how we treat each other. Again, when we talk to each other, it's hostile. So, solutions. One of the best solutions, here's Minister Farrakhan.
We as leaders, so-called, must make a covenant with our people that nothing is more important than the salvation of a people who are now on a death march. While we're singing and dancing and popping our finger and shaking our backside to the world, we are on a death march into ovens, but not the same oven called Auschwitz. But it is a destruction coming to our people through bad health care, no health insurance, HIV, AIDS, drive-by shootings, gang conflict, crack cocaine. We are now become the enemy of ourselves. So we have to make a covenant. All of this is a farce. If we don't make up our minds today to make this contract, this covenant today, not with us and the Democratic Party, to hell with the Democrats and to hell with the Republicans. If they want our vote, let's come as a unified body. Let's gather, Tavis, the scholars. We got them in theology to plan the moral and spiritual development of a people. Bishop Long is not the pastor of this church alone. T.D. Jakes is not the pastor of his church alone. Reverend Jackson and Reverend Sharpton and Reverend Lowry are not the pastors of their constituencies alone. These are the shepherds of an entire people. What we shepherds have got to do is come in a room, turn the camera off, put the Bible on the table. That book will transform human life if you teach it right. Stop entertaining your people with religion and start teaching your people, and they will respond and they will be a better people. Listen, let's gather our educators and sit in a room and plan the educational development of our people beyond the contrived education of the Western educational system. Dewey and Kant, who are the philosophers of Western education, they deny you equal education because if you ever get equal education, they can't rule you anymore. They are not going to give it to you. You got to be willing to give it to yourself.
Yeah. Another solution is getting back to talking to each other. Brothers used to speak. That's falling off. Black women ain't gonna speak at all. Yet the moment you fall up on something, you turn into me to help you out or answer a question or fix a problem. Hell, you didn't even speak. So that's where we are. This program comes from things I talked about with people on last week. And again, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. told you he feared he took his people into a burning house. The racial wealth gap is still an issue in this country. That's sad. The difference between a white family's gross assets and their median income compared to ours. White folk make over $900,000. Black folk make $140-something thousand. Huge disparity. How did we get here? Where's our 40 acres and a mule? That white woman just told you the power of our vote for the Democratic Party. I say, you let their ass lose this midterm election. No one votes. You old niggas, slaves, and coons are going to go out and vote. But to the young people under 60, stay home. Let the Republicans win. You think it's going to be any worse under them than it is under the Democrats that you've been giving your full support to? No, it's not. You would do it to a nigga on the block. He didn't do shit for you and yours. You ain't going to do shit for him and his. Treat them white folk that way. Don't go out and vote. Don't go out and vote. Let the Republicans have it. If you ain't doing nothing for me, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Jim Clyburn, all of you people in the black Congressional Black Caucus, you ain't doing nothing for me, ain't nothing for you either. Don't come pandering to me. They take the money from the Asians and the Hispanics and they use it to pander to you. Here comes some rap song. Here comes somebody dropping it like it's hot. It's not telling you what their platform is, what they're going to do for you. Hillary Clinton got hot sauce in her purse. Nigga, how long you going to be that fucking stupid? But you can't tell these niggas nothing. Can't really blame them. They've been engineered that way since they were babies, since they were children. We've all been engineered, but at some point you got to break away from it. Look at all the people God sent here to tell us what we need to do. All the way down to Minister Louis Farrakhan. And we do what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's sad. That's why we are where we are. That is how we got here. So the bad mother trucker syndrome, time to get rid of that. when we start meeting each other, let's go back to the 30s and 40s and 50s and speak to each other with some kind of dignity and respect. Because here's the thing, when I first moved to Texas, right? Me and a lot of other cats noticed this. Cats from Indianapolis, Detroit, New York. We all noticed this. That when we got to Dallas, Texas, these Dallas niggas, woo, 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 book, 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 book. But the moment the white boy came up, they dropped their head and avoided eye contact. Oh, yeah. I'll take care of it. I got it. And then soon as he left, he back to whoop, 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 buck, buck, buck. A bad mother trucker syndrome. Talking aggressive, this, that. Talk to me like you talk to him. I'm tired of my blood pressure going up, nigga, talking to you. I'm tired of messing up my heart, kidneys, and lungs and liver and whatnot talking to you. Even the women. Yo, nigga, what you looking at, nigga? Well, sweetie, I was just looking at you. How you doing? Nigga, why you care how I'm doing? Then the white man coming on. How you doing? How you doing, sir? See the hypocrisy? So we as black people. So I ain't gonna hold you. I'm about to move it along. Just wanted to put that out there. Again, I said I was going to do the Women Are Unprotected show. I'm also going to do another show about media and what the media has done on a massive scale to disrupt our community. But we're our own worst enemy. We hate each other. We hate those that look like us. And it's sad. I hate you because I was conditioned to hate you. I hate you, nigga, because I was socially engineered to hate you. I hate you, nigga, because way back in the 1700s, I was conditioned to hate you. And I was conditioned to love, respect, and admire those who look like my God. White Jesus. White folk bumping our head. Got us duped. It's not going to change in my lifetime. Don't expect it to. But before I die and leave this rock, I just wanted to leave that here. Maybe someone will hear this show after I'm dead and gone. And I hope that it inspires you to take the steps to start getting something working. There's nothing I can do. I wish I could. My birthday is Christmas Day. I think that I would love to be empowered with a way to bring my people together. First off, to quit talking to each other like that. Second of all, to at least speak to each other. At least speak. What's up, my man? How you doing, little mama? Not the aggression. How you doing, sweetie? Don't worry about how I'm doing, nigga. Ain't your business how I'm doing. And the white person, hello. Oh, how are you? How are you, sir? How are you, Mr. White Man? Hat in hand. How did we get here? We've been conditioned this way. Hope you enjoyed the program. Please like and share and all that good stuff. I never say that. I know I should, but I never say that. Like the show. Please leave a comment, and I will bring it up on next week to delve into what your thoughts were on the subject. But state of Black America. It's not going to change in my lifetime, I don't think. But something in my spirit wanted me to go ahead and produce this program so that someone, after I'm dead and gone, will hear this program and find a way to get us back on the track. I think separation myself. I think for the next 10, 20 years, we need to separate ourselves from everybody. But because of social engineering, we're not going to do that. A lot of you niggas love white folk. You cling to them. You the one down on your hands and knees with your arms wrapped around their ankles. When are we going to build our own again? Like Black Wall Street. Wasn't just Tulsa, wasn't just Rosewood, it was over 20 Black Wall Streets. We've always had our own. But because of them burning it down and the systemic racism and the racism that's in every institution, and everybody wants to say, well, black people always playing the victim role. This country was built with racism woven into the fabric of America. I did that show 2 programs ago. Black people always playing the race card. Nigga, you people invented race. It's a social construct. I did that program. So please like it. Share it if you can. If you ain't a coward ass nigga. Again, leave a comment. You can find us on www.pushgapradios.com, where you can log into the podcast or you can check out the YouTube channel. We thank you for logging on. We thank you for making a part of our world, a part of your world. And it's not going to change in my lifetime. I just want you to be aware of how we got here. I'm just so sick and tired of people always talking about how we are today in 2022, but no one wants to talk about what the fuck happened back in 1600 to get us to where we are today. Channel 401 in the main event on pushgapradios.com. Pray until something happens. God always provides. At pushgapradios.com, the power is in the name. Never average, never mediocre, online, on point, and on the freaking money. Bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. I'm not trying to change how you think. I'm just trying to change what you think about. PushGapRadios.com in Dallas and Fort Worth. Thank you for logging on. And we're out.
Pray until something happens. God always provides. At PushGapRadio.com, the power is in the name.
Never average, never mediocre. We're online, on point, and on the money. Channel 401 in the main event only on PushGapRadio.com.
PushGapRadio.com. Bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. PushGapRadio.com. It's Dallas, baby.